overwhelmed our ability to receive your guidance and discern a direction. Remind us of your servant Ezra, who, when embarking on a perilous future, petitioned God and then proclaimed a fast, calling the people to humble themselves before you, that you would lead and protect them on the journey. We often call to mind your reluctant servant Esther, but remind us that when she was faced with the annihilation of her people and heard your call for personal sacrifice in the face of political uncertainty, she too urged prayer and fasting, and then placed all her dependence on your provision. And so, O Lord, as we face times such as these, the ongoing war of atrocities in Ukraine, the tinderbox of terror that is Israel and Gaza, the divisive unrest in these very chambers, may we in prayer rend our hearts and not our country. May we fast, abstaining from all that detracts us from our reliance on you. Then may we return to you, O Lord, appealing to you for your guidance and protection. For you are gracious and compassionate, slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love. Speak the word you would have us hear. In your sovereign name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Hello,
The chair has
everybody.
examined the journal of the last day's proceedings and announces to the
Thanks
House
for
the total
clicking
thereof.
on.
Pursuant to Clause 1 of Rule 1, the journal stands approved. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by the gentleman from Illinois, Mr. Bost.
All right, thanks for clicking on, everybody. We're getting started here.
Louisiana seek recognition.
Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Clause 7 of Rule 20, I move a call of the House.
Okay, there'll
Per
be a
Clause 7B
quorum
of Rule
call.
20, the chair confers recognition for that purpose. Without objection, a call of the House is ordered. Members will record their presence by electronic device.
Okay, this basically is to establish the number that will be voting so that you know the number that will be required to have a majority. Yesterday, we knew there were going to be 433 voting, so 217 was the number required. About 15 minutes of the quorum call here, and feel free to hang out in the chat, talk amongst yourselves, and we will be back once the quorum is over and the official vote begins. We're expecting 2 votes today. We're expecting the first vote to be for Jim Jordan as Speaker of the House. Again, he lost by a significant number yesterday. He could only afford 3 Republicans to vote against him. 20 voted against him, 17 more than expected. It's possible that more will be voting against him today. The opposition in the Republican Party to Jordan could grow today.
So the process begins.
We'll listen, and I'll be back on in
this idea
minutes.
Of, if
Thanks
a
for
Speaker
being
of the
here.
House
Hit that like
will
button
be
while you're
elected in
here.
the House of Representatives. The process starting with a call of the House, as it's known. We'll talk about the technicalities with Stephen Newcomb of The Messenger. He serves as their congressional reporter. Mr. Newcomb, thanks for giving us your time.
Thanks for having me, Pedro.
So walk us through the beginning process, even the technicalities of a call for the House. Why is it part of the process?
Yeah, I mean, establishing the attendance here is sort of key. I mean, it changes the math depending on how many lawmakers are on the House floor. It could lower or bring higher the threshold that any speaker candidate needs to reach to become speaker. And if everybody is here today, like we expect them to be, that threshold is going to be 217 votes for Mr. Jordan to become the next Speaker of the House.
And so we saw, when it comes to math, as you brought up, the number 200 when it comes to Mr. Jordan's tally. Where do you think that number is today, or at least what members are telling you?
Yeah, I think Jordan allies are expecting that number to go down. I mean, they're expecting some defections. I think that the opposition to Mr. Jordan is quite unified and organized. They are very upset with what they say was the pressure campaign that Jordan and his allies put on particularly moderates to get them to vote for Mr. Jordan, the Ohio Republican. So they're expecting some defection here, and there's growing calls to empower Speaker Pro Tem Patrick McHenry to be in that position for an extended period of time, and giving him extended powers to be able to bring up resolutions, pass bills, and things of that nature. So we're expecting to see that 200 to go down when the House votes here, and within the hour.
Can you elaborate on what you were talking about when you talked about the pressure campaign from Mr. Jordan and his associates?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this was the playbook all along from the Jordan team.
If you're just joining us, we're getting
saw
analysis
Scalise,
from C-SPAN,
he
and
threw in the towel
the
relatively
quorum
early.
call's going
He
on
didn't go
about
to
20
vote
minutes
when it
from
became clear that he
voting.
wouldn't have the votes. But the Jordan team told me all along that their plan was to put lawmakers on the House floor, make them vote in public. I think that sort of, it's a more hard-nosed approach than others would have taken, like Mr. Scalise. And then also we heard talk of just a lot of people being reached out to, pressured to vote for Mr. Jordan. We heard chatter of threatened primary campaigns, and also members' wives being contacted as well. So I think that there's just people did not respond well to that pressure campaign. And it pushed some members, particularly moderates, in a direction away from Mr. Jordan and his allies.
Stephen Newcomb, we've heard about this during the course of the last several days, but what's the plan B if it doesn't happen for Mr. Jordan today?
Yeah, well, I guess this isn't plan B, right? This is like plan D, or we're going down the ladder here. I think that again, there's growing support for empowering Mr. McHenry to have extended powers, and that is to pass resolutions, bring bills to the floor. There are people who disagree with that approach, including publicly, Mr. McHenry has said that he doesn't think that he has the power to do those types of things in his Speaker Pro Tem capacity. So one hurdle here is going to be convincing Patrick McHenry himself that he's able to do that. Our expectation, I just heard that Mr. Jordan wants a vote on a resolution to empower Mr. McHenry. That could come as soon as today from the House floor after the vote on Jim Jordan's speakership. So I think that's where the direction that things are headed right now, and we could again see that vote as early as today.
We've seen Democrats coalesce around this idea of expanding the powers, but when the vote actually comes down, will the support be there?
Yeah, I think it's going to have to be a coalition of Republicans and Democrats. And, Republicans and Democrats that I've talked to, particularly Democrats, have said that these conversations have been happening, informally, quietly over the last week, 2 weeks, about what a consensus candidate, a consensus speaker, a consensus resolution here would look like. And I think empowering McHenry is sort of the popular solution that's emerging out of those conversations. So we'll have to see. Democrats have been united in their support of Mr. Jeffries, the minority leader. And we're going to have to see if enough Republicans and enough Democrats will come together to get that level of support to empower McHenry as the temporary Speaker of the House.
What's your sense on if the House Freedom Caucus and those who align themselves with the Freedom Caucus, their level of support for the expansion of power?
I don't think that there's going to be a ton of support for that. I mean, Mr. McHenry himself, a staunch McCarthy ally, somebody who helped negotiate the debt limit deal, has been by McCarthy's side in a lot of the happenings that the Freedom Caucus had problems with McCarthy about. So I don't think it's going to be popular on that side of the Republican conference. Again, that's why I think it's going to take some coalition of moderate Republicans and moderate Democrats, center left and center right lawmakers to push that across the finish line.
So we've talked about a lot of things, particularly what are you interested in watching today?
Well, first, we're going to have to see what the vote is for Mr. Jordan, whether that goes up or whether that goes down. We do expect him to flip some members who were no's yesterday. Some have said publicly that they voted no on Jordan on the first ballot, but plan to vote yes on the second ballot. Whether that can compensate for the moderate detractors that he's going to pick up in the second ballot. And then secondly, if they do move to vote for this resolution to empower McHenry, what level of Democratic support does that have? What portion of the Democratic Party is willing to partner with Republicans? And then what portion of the Republican Party is even interested in empowering McHenry as the temporary speaker? I think that those are key things to look out for as we go through this process yet again today.
Stephen Newcomb reports on Congress for The Messenger. You can find his work online here to talk about what to expect today when it comes to this speaker election. Mr. Newcomb, thanks for your time.
Hey, thanks for having me.
202-748-8921 for Republicans. Democrats 202-748-8920 and others 202-748-8922. Feel free to text us at 202-748-8923 and then post on our social media sites as well. They're establishing the call of the House right now, and once that's done and they get to the actual process of voting, we will take you back to the House floor. Your calls until then. Angie in New York, thanks for waiting. Republican line, you start us off. Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Go ahead.
I'm going for Jordan. I want Jordan to be speaker because I want to know where our money is going. All the money that's sent to Ukraine, Iran, everything. I want to know about where all of that is going to. I think that a lot of the non-voters are afraid of Jordan because he's going to investigate and find out a lot of stuff, like who's corrupt, who's not, who's been, like, I guess Don Bacon, there's something that just came out that he's getting money from China. So.
Okay, let's hear from Tanisha in Texas on our others line.
Good morning. So I am calling to kind of point out as an independent that every time the Democrats come to the floor, they might fight behind scenes, but they are in lockstep. They come as a group. And that's pretty impressive. Whereas Republicans, they come on the floor, they can't get their act together. They can't come as one. They always defeat themselves. They always shoot themselves in the foot. That being said, I do support Jordan as a speaker. So I think they need to get their act together. The other thing I noticed is when Republican callers call in, if they start to talk about Trump, they're typically cut off or defend Trump. But I noticed with Democrat callers, if they want to bash Trump, they're allowed to speak. So from an independent point of view, it is obvious that.
Okay, well, as an independent, why Jim Jordan?
I think the lady from New York summed it up pretty well. I want to know where our money's going, and I think he's going to do that. And I think some Republicans are afraid about that.
Democrats line from New York. This is Barry. Hello.
Hi there. I just want to say in general, listening to the Republican comments, it makes me realize how little they have to say of interest to me, and probably how little of interest I have to say to them. But as a practical matter, I'm noting that on the first ballot, that Valadao, Ciscomani, Steele, Schweikert, Duarte, Kane, Nunn, Molinaro, Williams, Van Orden, and Calvert, all in very toss-up districts, all voted for Jordan. So I want to thank them for giving us ammunition, because come 2024 election, so far as I'm concerned, we're going to target them and kick them out.
Okay.
Hey, everybody, for clicking on. We are monitoring, waiting the vote.
Hi, I'm calling to
Quorum
voice my
currently
support
going
for
on.
Jordan and to those who seek the truth and to move American families back from the high costs of living, which are unsustainable for American families, dangerously deadly open borders, and also to voice my disdain and shock of John James, whom I voted for, sent him cash, had a yard sign, attended his events. He was quickly compromised by donations from questionable sources. See Laura Loomer's Twitter feed. Also,
okay, well, let's go back to Jim Jordan. Why
we are hearing
supporting him
from average citizens calling in on the Republican line or the Democrat line.
Because I believe that he will absolutely seek the truth, seek facts, and try to pull back the deadly and dangerous stopping of the energy sources, exploration in the U.S. I think that he will help to put the brakes on spending our money that we don't have to fund Ukrainian Nazis, like Boneface, Kent McClellan, that was in Florida recently, with others that were also.
Okay. All right. Let's leave it there. Yeah. Great idea.
Thomas in Maryland. Hi.
Hi, I'm calling from Maryland. I actually grew up in the Maryland suburbs. I started in politics in 59, 60 with Kennedy, so I voted for Kennedy. I'm an independent. I lean conservative. And one observation I'll make is this nation is so unbelievably divided. I don't even know if there's any room for
Lauren B., that's a great question.
Both sides are at fault. That being said,
hey, not going away. Thank you for being here as always.
The Republicans that are dissenting from Jordan, what exactly is their objection?
Okay. That is a viewer there, and we continue on with your calls. About 80 people yet to register their presence as far as the call to order is concerned. After that, the nomination process starting. Again, if you watched it yesterday,
we're just killing time, in other words,
as they register who they will support.
Again, thank you all for being here. We're giving you a place to watch if you don't have television or you choose not to watch mass media. We are showing you uncut from C-SPAN what's going to be happening. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Henry on the floor. I definitely don't see that Jordan has the votes at this point. And I think that the question for Democrats, especially for Hakeem Jeffries, is optics over government. I think that they definitely demonstrated that optics were more important to them when they voted to oust McCarthy. And I do see, I don't really see them helping to elect McHenry at this point when it serves, the mission of flipping the House, not to elect McHenry. But in terms of Jordan, I definitely see him as an extremist, and I don't think he has the votes right now. I've actually heard that he's going to lose votes today. And I think that as it goes on, you're going to see more people start to flip away from him.
200 votes for Mr. Jordan yesterday, 20 Republicans pushing back against him when it came to the tally from yesterday's election. How that number changes, we'll see as it plays out there. Again, this first step, so to speak, is to finish the call of the House and then move on to the actual voting process. Kerry in Alabama, Republican line. Hi.
Hey, good afternoon, sir. I say we just get together as the Republicans and vote. If it's not Jordan, let's get it together and vote somebody as Speaker of the House. Too much stuff is going on that we need to address. If the Republicans would do like the Democrats do, unite, wrong or right, but most of the time they're in the wrong, and just say, Jesus is coming. We got to get ready.
But if it's as far as they can't center around Jim Jordan, what Republican do you think they can center around?
Well, I don't care who it is. I do care, but we just need to gather around just one person and let's get this stuff going. It's just crazy.
Again, you can see this play out on C-SPAN, our main channel there. If you want to keep watching there, perhaps you'd have to be out and about today. Feel free to follow along on our mobile app at C-SPAN Now and on your computer at cspan.org as we watch and wait to see what happens on the events of today. We'll hear from Arizona. Independent Line, this is Gabriel. Hello.
Hello, this is Gabrielle. I would like to know why people are supporting any of these America First caucus people, do they not recall what happened in the past in 1939 to 1941 with America First people? They were the ones who supported Hitler. And they call themselves Americans? I question their mentality.
This is Tanner, Richmond, Virginia, Democrats line.
Hi there. Yeah, I would just like to say this speaks so much to the division in this country. You know, Democrats and Republicans seem to more and more in years going by. You're on your side of the aisle, I am on mine, and we're not going to reach. And now that's coming for the Republican Party itself. There's division, and they can't seem to get it done. They can't seem to come together as a caucus. The Democrats are in lockstep. They're showing their support for their person, and I think that's wonderful. I think during their nominating speech, their one slip was a lot of mention of things speaking more towards what the Republicans did and not towards what Hakeem Jeffries has done himself. But otherwise, I think the Democrats are making a great show of this, and I really think this is just bad for the Republicans for the future elections. I can't say anything else but that.
A member of the leadership from both sides will make the pitch for their various representatives as far as Speaker of the House concerned. So expect to hear someone supporting and praising Jim Jordan for the job, and Hakeem Jeffries the same. Again, all part of the process as it plays out. John in New York, Republican line.
Yes, thank you for taking my call. The area in which I live is a Republican stronghold, and I'm involved in local politics. The resounding opinion here is why did the Republicans even put Jordan up? He's an election denier. He's part of the insurrection. There has to be a better Republican representative to support Speaker of the House. We're all Americans. Let's do what is best for America.
Which Republican would you support?
Scalise was a good selection. I don't know why he is not part of the vote. Scalise would have been good, and there's a couple of other candidates I think that would have been good. I would prefer a moderate Republican who can look to the other side of the aisle to work with Democrats as well. This is what is best for America. We need to follow the word of the Constitution, and that's my opinion. Thank you very much for allowing me to call in.
Okay, Representative Steve Scalise of Louisiana was at one time set, or at least in the process of becoming the House Speaker, took himself out of the running when support couldn't happen for him. Now that's turned to Jim Jordan. Again, we'll see how that goes as we wait for this call of the House to happen with 16 people yet to click in and complete the process. We'll take those calls up until then, and you'll get to watch it in real time, gavel to gavel, as it plays out throughout the course of the day. Let's go to Michigan Independent Line. This is William. Hi there.
Yes, thank you for having me. My concern is with Jordan. Really, he shouldn't be. Or 420. He's the worst choice. He's been in there for 16 years and has produced no legislation. That's his only job, and it's a bigger problem than the party in general. I used to like some of the Republicans. Now they seem to promote the worst amongst them. Basically, you have just the dregs of society being put into positions of power. I just don't understand it. It's the dumbing down of America, at least in the Republican Party right now.
Okay. This is Angela in Kansas, Democrats line.
Hi, I would just like to say I'm a Democrat, but I want McNary in there. I want someone who's going to work with the other side. Jordan would know the truth if it hit him in the face. I'm sorry to say that, but that's how I feel. I am a Democrat, but I want us all to work together. We are in crisis right now. We need someone to lead us and not do all this.
We need American Doofus. It's time for Doofus.
They're doing these far right.
The only one that can unite us all.
We just need people to come together as Americans and support American country. I want McNary in there.
Okay.
I think he's the best he is.
Hey, everybody. If you're just joining us, we've been on for about a half an hour now. We're covering the Speaker of the House vote.
if the Republicans are going to be in there, we have to have somebody we can trust. We cannot trust.
Yeah, we can't trust Jordan. And I think almost anybody outside of the far right would believe that. We cannot trust Jordan. Hey, Pat Tolliver, again, Lauren B., not going away in the chat. Thank you all. If you would like to join the chat, you need to be on the YouTube platform. And if you're watching from one of the other platforms, you want to get in the chat, please feel free to do so. Just come to YouTube, look for American Doofus channel. And we are live right now, giving an alternative for those that don't watch television or those that don't watch mainstream. Uncut from the floor of the U.S. House of Representatives on C-SPAN, and we'll be providing some analysis and some conversation throughout the course of this. But mostly we're just going to be observing what goes on. Historic, trying to replace Kevin McCarthy, who was taken out 2 weeks ago by this same group that is trying to push Jim Jordan in. He was embarrassed yesterday. Not only did he not get enough to be Speaker, he was beaten by Hakeem Jeffries. The Democrat had more votes for Speaker of the House than Jordan did. So not only didn't he get enough, but he was beaten by the Democrats. And word is that we could see that faction of Republicans that voted against him. We could see that grow today, which would embarrass him even more. And also, as you've heard, the possibility of empowering the current temporary speaker that McCarthy posted would take his place in case McCarthy were to get ousted, which he did. And that is Patrick McHenry. And that's who gavelled the House into session. The talk about some kind of coalition government between the Democrats and the Republicans and putting McHenry in as a limited speaker on a very limited time frame while a permanent speaker were put in place. Now, one of the reasons people don't want to take this job as Speaker of the House is because of what McCarthy had put in, that one person could call for the ouster of the Speaker, which Matt Gaetz did 2 weeks ago. And they indeed was successful in ousting McCarthy. So that is still there. So whoever is the speaker, one member of the House can come up and request that vote to have that speaker removed. So the stability of the position is really compromised because of McCarthy. So that's all. That's what's going on. We're waiting on the quorum right now. Looks like it's going to be 433 again. So that means the number we'll be looking for today is 217 votes. I'll be back in just a couple of minutes with some more. Let's go back to C-SPAN.
Little thing go on here, and I'm disgusted by it. We see veterans, could lose money. We see, and I see this stuff about, using the Constitution, saying "we the people." When I see them, Republicans, they're trying to, distort things like taking away books, taking away things, and they say they're the unifying party right now, and I'm kind of on the bubble of switching because I don't think they know what the truth is anymore.
Well, how does that relate to the House Speaker election?
Well, I look at Jim Jordan and I sat there and I see he hasn't passed anything. He hasn't, he's not working to anything. I called Kevin McCarthy's office the other day about this, and they just ignored me, and I think that Jim Jordan is a very poor person to be leading this party right now because he's not looking to help the country, but he's looking to help tear it down.
And being from Bakersfield, what did you think of Kevin McCarthy in the Speaker's role?
Well, again, I think him is he's better than Jim Jordan, but as you know, I speak for some of the veterans here. I'm a social worker. That he has a hard time telling the truth. He's been promising the veterans, a new clinic here for at least 10 years, and still hasn't got one. So his trust level is, but he is better than Jim Jordan. I would support him over.
Okay, let's go to our independent line. This is our line for others. Wayne in Texas. Hi.
Yes. Good evening.
Good evening.
These
It's 11:41 in the morning,
they act like
Wayne.
Kids in a nursery. Stand up and be a person, not a kid. You was voted in by the people. You should honor the vote, but also be a person that will stand up for the government and do what is right, not what is wrong. Our veterans, they fought for this country. Our older veterans, they fought for this country. Stand up and fight for this country. Stand with your people that voted you in. Don't just go and be looking for something, a gift from the people.
Okay, that's Wayne there in Texas. 15 minutes was set for this call, time relative being in this process, waiting on those final members to put their spots in before we start the process. This is Lisa in South Carolina, Democrats line. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, yes. I'm saddened. I'm afraid. I don't understand the people that are voting for Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan almost has a war against America, which he's an insurrectionist. If he were to win, he's already said he's going to lock everybody else. He's going to tear down the justice system. He's going to impeach this person, that he's going to impeach people that don't even work for the government. America deserves more than that. We're a great country. We're great people. We have far more good people than these people show themselves to be. The small little dissidents, I'm not even sure why they allowed them to even make this move. So I'm really sad. He's an insurrectionist. He's not a patriot. He hasn't done anything but scream and attack, and he's against everything. The right for women.
Okay, that's Lisa there in South Carolina. We showed you a list of names of specifically those who voted against Representative Jordan yesterday, 20 of those names there. And one of the things you may want to see play out during the course of the day in this second vote is if those names will change from yesterday, if there'll be an addition of names who vote against Jim Jordan, if there'll be a change in names who actually vote for Jim Jordan when it comes to House Speaker. And you can watch that play out again when you watch C-SPAN, our main channel. You can follow along on the app and the .org too. This is from Olivia Beavers of Politico reporting that the representative was talking to Representative Garbarino, a current no on the House floor. So that's part of that plays out. Then there's also other reporting being done as people wait for this election to take place. Let's hear from Arizona, Republican line. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely Jim Jordan would be not a very good candidate since he's a insurrectionist, just like Donald J. Trump, who has all these charges against him, and no one's even looking at that. And a president that says he doesn't have to follow the Constitution after making the pledge for taking under oath that he would protect our Constitution. Now he doesn't seem to have to. That's why I switched to become a Republican Party, and I do believe that either Christie would be a good president or Nikki Haley. Definitely none of these other ones, and I believe that every senator should have term limits. This is ridiculous that they can be in the House for years and do absolutely nothing.
Okay, that's a viewer there in Arizona. Again, down to one from the initial number that we started with in this call of the House. Some things being reported on as far as things going on the House when it comes to Representative Jim Jordan, again, who is waiting to see, along with everyone else, if there'll be enough votes for him to become the next Speaker of the House. Devin in Colorado, Independent Line.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
Hi, you're on. Go ahead.
Jim Jordan, thank you. Jim Jordan and the Ohio State abuse scandal, Richard Strauss. I don't know why he's not getting pressed on this more. He has no values. That in and of itself disqualifies him from this job. I know people in his own district do not like him. So thank you for your time.
Some of the reporting there, Jake Sherman from Punchbowl News, saying that it was Representative Jordan talking to Republican leadership floor staff during this process. As you watch play out, he's went up to the Speaker's chair, talked to the Speaker Pro Tem, Patrick McHenry. And so what that means, who knows? But it's part of what you will see play out today. Zachary in New Mexico, Democrats line. Hi.
Hey, good morning, sir. Good morning, America. Thanks for hearing my voice. I'm a recovering Republican service member, and I just wanted to share an insight. These folks are asking for someone to, that in 16 years, I know this has been pointed out, has never covered a bill. And they say things like they want to know where the money's going. Those two things don't align. Actions speak louder than words. I'm concerned that Democrats are not reaching out to the actual politicians there on the Republican side of the House there to make something work. I know there's people that aren't bringing ill intentions into the conversation here. And I think the Republican Party has established a foothold for someone like a dictator to come into this, and I think that's just what they're holding out for.
Independent line from Braden in North Carolina.
Hi, I speak on behalf of the students from Hendersonville High School, and we as 17-year-olds believe that this nation is divided, and that what we really need right now is for this nation to come together to just be able to vote on a Speaker of the House so we can figure out this whole mess that we're in the United States.
Tell us more about your group and why you're particularly interested in this race.
We're in an AP government class right now, so we get to learn about current events and things that are going on in the nation. And obviously there's a lot going on, but that's what we've been learning about right now.
What have you learned from watching it from a class? What have you learned about the process?
We've learned about the divisiveness, the division in the country, and what it really means for a Speaker of the House, what they have to do. And we think it's extremely important to have one because we didn't really know what a Speaker of the House was, but now we know, and we know exactly why we need one.
When it comes to the debate in your classroom, as far as the Speaker itself, is it evenly divided? Are there more those who support Jim Jordan, those who are against him? How does that break down?
It's very divided in this class right now. We've been debating about it all week.
Okay. And thank you for watching our network as part of your education process when it comes to this play out. Appreciate students who watch, particularly AP classes all across the United States. They're interested in history and government. Again, thanks for calling in. Sarah Ferris from Politico reporting that centrist Republicans, as they're described, are serious about this idea of giving powers to the current Speaker Pro Tem, Patrick McHenry. That's something that's being played out there. Democrats reportedly also watching that. It's the plan from Representative Dave Joyce, still highly secreted according to Sarah Ferris, expected to include language on a continuing resolution as well, including aid packages for Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan. And also the McHenry powers. So that's a new twist of reporting. Whether it plays out or not, we'll see. But that's Sarah Ferris from Politico reporting there. Again, we are down to this call the House, which started well over 25 minutes ago, probably longer than that, to establish the quorum to go into the voting process. We're waiting on a lone person to cast their slot in, and then we'll start the process out as far as the voting is concerned. Republican line, Christy in Missouri. Hi there. You're next up. Go ahead.
Thank you very much for taking my call. I need everyone to know Matt Gaetz is a hero. He made Kevin McCarthy, he tried to make him keep his promises that he made. and he didn't.
Okay. That's Christy there. By the way, our own congressional watcher who watches Congress for you, so I don't have to, so to speak, is Craig Kaplan. He is on Capitol Hill posting on his Twitter feed. You can follow him too there at Craig Kaplan, that the lone holdout so far to that one number that you see, Representative Donald Payne, Democrat from New Jersey, not voted yet. So that's, again, more information you can learn from Craig at Craig Kaplan, who watches Capitol Hill for us. Let's hear from Daniel in San Francisco, Democrats line.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. So I think like the best speaker would definitely be Hakeem Jeffries, but I'd say if Jim Jordan doesn't succeed with the Republicans and they decide to go with the strange strategy of putting Trump up, I would rather say that we follow Jamie Raskin's thing that he floated, where he suggested that Liz Cheney might be a good option. And yeah, I would, while she's the best candidate, she would be way better than the alternatives that we're seeing so far.
In Florida, independent line, Heidi, good morning.
Hi. I used to be a Republican. After Trump got into office, I switched parties and became an independent. I feel that extremists on either side is not good for our country. And I would prefer to see Hakeem Jeffries there, but if not, I would say McHenry would be a better choice. Jordan, he snubbed his nose at a subpoena. He's an extremist. He's in bed with Donald Trump, and he would do his bidding, just like he's got the inquiry of impeachment against President Biden right now with no evidence whatsoever. So he's as corrupt as most of those right-wing extremists are. All of them have problems, so I wouldn't want to see him there at all.
South Carolina Republican line, Beverly, hello.
Hi.
Go ahead.
I feel like we need a speaker now, and Jordan's the next one to vote for, so I feel like the Republicans should stick together and vote for Jordan. But I wish we'd all love each other, regardless of our parties, that we would love our country and God enough to do what is right. I feel like we need to get back with God. Thank you.
Jake Sherman from Punchbowl News there reporting on his Twitter feed. You can follow along at Jake Sherman, saying now that Representative Mike Kelly approaching the Speaker Pro Tem Patrick McHenry. You'll remember, maybe not know, that Representative Kelly has a resolution to empower McHenry. We'll take you back to the House.
Members recorded.
Okay, we got 432, it looks like.
Clerk will report. On this roll call, 432 members have recorded their presence. The question now recurs on the election of a speaker. The tellers will please come forward to take their seats.
Okay, so we are finally about to begin here. About 45 minutes after the House came in session at 11 o'clock, quorum call to determine the number that would be voting. Thank you all for clicking on. We'll be here throughout. And I'm not going to be talking over all of this. Just on occasion, we will come in with some analysis, some commentary. We've been listening to phone calls from the public into the C-SPAN studios. And one thing it definitely shows is how divided our nation really is, and
take their seats.
How much
tellers
and the lack of information in many situations, or just looking at one source for your information and only seeing one thing or one way. And again, thanks for clicking on. Hit that like button if you would, and here we go.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise for the purpose of placing in nomination the name of the Honorable Jim Jordan for the position of Speaker of the House at the direction of the Republican Congress.
And the crowd goes tepid.
Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, 2 weeks and 1 day ago, I was on this House floor and in this chamber defending my very good friend and our former Speaker, Mr. McCarthy, from an effort to vacate the chair. And in the course of that speech, I made the remark that those who did this, whether intentionally or unintentionally, were going to put the Congress in a state of chaos and the country into a state of uncertainty. I think the last 2 weeks have vindicated that observation. But we have a chance today to end that chaos and to end that uncertainty. Now, when these races happen, there's always a lot of hard things said on both sides of the aisle. There's a lot of finger pointing that goes on. I don't intend to be involved in any of that today. I think the decision in front of us is far, far too important for that. But I am very proud to place in nomination the name of our good friend, my good friend, our Republican candidate for Speaker, the Honorable Jim Jordan of Ohio. I've had the privilege of knowing Jim Jordan for a long time. I've been in Congress for a long time. So for his entire period in the House, I've had the honor of serving with my friend. Now, my friend is not exactly a shrinking violet. You don't win national championships in college. You don't come to this floor with a sincere set of beliefs and a desire to make a change and be shy about it. And my friend is not a shy person. But I've learned some things about him over the years. He is a person of absolute personal integrity. I have never once had to question something that he told me. He's an honorable man. Also, I think we all know he's a pretty direct man, too. I don't think anybody in here on any issue of any substance would have to guess where Jim Jordan is going to stand. He doesn't deceive. He doesn't dissemble. He simply tells you straight up, this is what I believe, this is why I think it's the right thing to do for the country, and that's what I'm going to try and accomplish, and I'm going to work with you in any way that I can to do it. Now, the other thing I think we've found in the last couple of weeks is what it takes to be a speaker. And the one thing I know, never having been one and never having aspired to be one, that it takes a spine of steel to do this job. My friend has that kind of determination, has that kind of character, has that kind of spine. And I think the next speaker is going to need that quality, and I know my friend has it in great abundance. Now, if you're a Republican, it ought to be a pretty easy decision, my friends. You know, this is somebody who believes what we believe and has fought for and shown that over and over again. You know, when I first got to know him, a lot of his focus was on spending. That's exactly where the focus of this House ought to be. Now, he's laid out a plan, not just a short-term plan, as to how we deal with the appropriations process. I'm an appropriator. I think I know that that's not the root of the problem. But unlike any other speaker we've had, he's had the courage to talk about a long-term plan and to get at the real drivers of debt. And we all know what they are. We all know it's Social Security. We all know it's Medicare. We all know it's Medicaid. No president of either side has been willing to deal with this. No speaker of either side has been willing to deal with this. My friend, our former colleague, John Delaney, and I offered a plan. I still file it every year. John's not here anymore. To go back and do in 1983 what we did then and address Social Security. We never can get any help. This is a guy that wants to create a debt commission, a bipartisan debt commission, and get at the roots of our spending problem. That takes courage. And Republicans ought to support somebody with that kind of courage. Now, he's not only focused on one thing. I don't know anybody that's done more to highlight and talk about the border disaster that is underway right now as we speak. You know, I had the privilege of serving here when Jay Johnson was Secretary of Homeland Security. I have a very high opinion of Jay Johnson. I think he's one of the finest public servants I ever met. And he was asked on one occasion to define what was a crisis on the southern border. And he said, anytime you have more than 1,000 illegal entries a day, you have a crisis. We have 10 or 11 times that every single day. And in that tide of humanity that's coming across, there is a boatload of fentanyl coming to kill tens of thousands of all of our constituents. There are human traffickers who are taking advantage of young men and young women and, frankly, predators in our own country, and they're bringing them across, not by the tens or the 20s or the dozens, but by the hundreds and the thousands. You know, there are amongst that flow of people, people that wish us ill, people who are not fleeing from oppression, people who are terrorists or criminals that are coming into our country for no good reason. Now, that is not an immigration problem. That's a border security problem. They are not the same thing. We can debate immigration. That's a worthy debate. We should never have to debate border security. Nobody's highlighted that issue like my friend Jim Jordan. Nobody's done more as a committee chairman to move legislation that would meaningfully deal with this problem. And this, my friends, on both sides of the aisle, but with all due respect, particularly this administration and my friends on the other side, you need to look at this. You need to look at this seriously. Don't confuse it with immigration. You ain't going to have immigration reform until we have border security. Cannot be done. This has been the #1 champion of that. It's one of the #1 issues that we have. Finally, I want to talk about something that can bring us together. There are a lot of things we disagree on, legitimately so. Most of us do not disagree about the security of the state of Israel. All of us. All of us on both sides of the aisle reacted with horror and with deep sympathy and with legitimate outrage at the crime that was perpetrated against the people of Israel in the last week. All of us, and all of us know that they are within their rights to respond forcefully and swiftly to defend their people and punish those who brought that upon them. So at a moment of crisis, and we are in a moment of crisis, we should come together and act. And we know we can't do that without a Speaker of the House. Now, it's a narrow majority, but my friends and I are in the majority. And we need to produce a Speaker. We have a candidate who we know where he will stand on issues that are important. We know where he's going to stand on spending because it's where he's always stood. Not like he's changed over the course of his career. I know what he's going to do on the border. I've read H.R. 2. I've seen what his committee produced. And it's not just money, it's policy and change that will provide security for the American people. And finally, and I say this on a bipartisan basis, I know he will stand up for Israel, and I know in that area we can come together. That crisis is on us now. We may get a request almost any time to act. We need to be able to act. My friend will act on that crisis. He's shown it his whole career. So it's with a great deal of pride that I have the privilege of nominating my friend, our chairman of the Judiciary Committee, but a person whose principles you know, whose actions you can trust, and who in a time of crisis will respond with the leadership we need. Jim Jordan.
The chair now recognizes the gentleman from California, Mr. Aguilar.
Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, I rise today at the direction of the House Democratic Caucus to place into nomination for the position of Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Honorable Hakeem Jeffries of New York. Here we are again, Mr. Speaker. And I promise to make these speeches shorter if we get closer to a compromise, but I'm not certain that that's going to happen at this moment. While the Republican candidate for Speaker is making late-night backroom deals to secure the gavel, Leader Jeffries has once again extended the hand of bipartisanship for a path forward. One thing was very clear yesterday: the vote total, 220, 212 to 200. The People's House has spoken, and Leader Jeffries has the support to be Speaker that this country needs. Mr. Speaker, $212 to 200. No amount of election denying is going to take away from those vote totals. We shouldn't, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, we shouldn't be surprised at the vote count. I noted yesterday the legislative acumen of the gentleman from Ohio. Would it surprise anyone that in addition to not passing a single piece of legislation, he's never put a piece of legislation that has made it to a committee? The Speaker of the House must be a legislator, and the gentleman from Ohio falls short in that regard. He supports an extreme agenda and is hell-bent on banning abortion nationwide, gutting Medicare, gutting Social Security, and giving cover to January 6th attackers. Those aren't the values that we share. If we don't see a speaker elected in this round, there's going to be another candidate and another internal Republican conference vote and a secret ballot, and the country can't afford more delays and more chaos. 15 days should be enough. House Democrats are united on this path forward. We're united behind Hakeem Jeffries, united to put people over politics, and united to lower costs, create better paying jobs, build safer communities, and defend democracy. And once again, we're coming together to achieve this common goal, and that is to make Hakeem Jeffries Speaker of the House of Representatives. Almost, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. Hakeem Jeffries has done what we haven't seen from the other side of the aisle, and that is to keep a caucus united. When extreme MAGA Republicans vowed to send our country into a devastating default, it was Leader Jeffries who led House Democrats to reject the extremism and keep the government open. Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, we have the vote totals to back that up. It has been Leader Jeffries and House Democrats who have shown a willingness and a conviction to keep our promise to deliver for American families. And it will be Hakeem Jeffries who will move our body and our country forward on a bipartisan path. Who on the other side of the aisle, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, will take yes for an answer and work with us to achieve three common goals? And my colleague and good friend, the gentleman from Oklahoma, mentioned one of them: supporting assistance to Israel But what he left out was assistance to Ukraine and our national security objectives. Second, above all else, we must commit to keep this government open and functioning. And finally, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem, we need to put this body on a bipartisan path to achieve real results for the American public. That is what we were sent to do. That is what we need to do. That is why Hakeem Jeffries is the leader we need at this time to lead this chamber. I'd like to nominate Hakeem Jeffries as Speaker of the House. I yield back.
No further nominations. The reading clerk will now call the roll.
Adams. Jeffries. Adderholt. Jordan. Aguilar. Jeffries. Alford. Jordan. Allen. Jordan. Allred. Jeffries. Amadei. Jordan. Armstrong. Jordan. Arrington. Jordan. Auchincloss. Jeffries. Babin. Jordan. Bacon. McCarthy. Baird. Jordan. Balderson. Jordan. Ballant. Jeffries. Banks. Jordan. Barr. Jordan. Barragan. Jeffries. Bean of Florida. Jordan. Beatty. Jeffries. Bentz. Jordan. Barra. Jeffries. Bergman. Jordan. Beyer. Jeffries. Bice. Jordan. Biggs. Jordan. Bilirakis. Jordan. Bishop of Georgia.
Just a note, one vote for
Bishop of
McCarthy
North
so
Carolina.
far. It only
Jordan.
takes 3.
Blumenauer. Jeffries. Blunt Rochester. Jeffries. Boebert. Jordan. Bonamici. Jeffries. Bost. Jordan. Bowman. Jeffries. Boyle of Pennsylvania. Jeffries. Burkeen. Jordan. Brown. Jeffries. Brownlee. Jeffries. Buchanan. Donalds.
There is the second vote, which is basically a no vote for Jordan.
Buck. Emmer. Bouchon. Jordan. Basinski.
And of course, there's the third vote.
Jeffries.
So
Burchett.
we'll see if the tally grows
Jordan.
from yesterday's 20,
Burgess.
as we are just now in
Jordan.
the B's.
Burleson. Jordan. Bush. Jeffries. Calvert. Jordan. Kamek. Jordan. Caraveo. Jeffries. Carbajal. Jeffries. Cardenas. Jeffries. Carey. Jordan. Carl. Jordan. Carson. Jeffries. Carter of Georgia. Jordan. Carter of Louisiana. Jeffries. Carter of Texas. Jordan. Cartwright. Jeffries. Kassar. Jeffries. Case. Jeffries. Caston. Jeffries. Castor of Florida. Jeffries. Castro of Texas. Jeffries. Chavez de Reamer. McCarthy.
Again, already 3 votes basically against Jordan. And there's the fourth, and I was about to say 3 is all he can afford. If he gets a fourth, there's absolutely no path to victory,
Sherfless
and there is
McCormick.
indeed the fourth.
Jeffries. Chu. Jeffries. Cisco Mining. Jordan. Clark of Massachusetts. Jeffries. Clark of New York. Jeffries. Cleaver. Jeffries. Klein. Jordan. Cloud. Jordan. Clyburn. Jeffries. Clyde. Jordan.
I think that might have been Liz Cheney that gave that fourth and final vote necessary to make sure Jordan was not going to be speaker on this round of voting.
Jordan. Collins. Jordan. Comer. Jordan. Connolly. Jeffries. Correa. Jeffries. Costa. Jeffries. Courtney. Jeffries. Craig. Jeffries. Crane. Jordan. Crawford. Jordan. Crenshaw. Jordan. Crockett. Jeffries. Crow. Jeffries. Cuellar. Jeffries. Curtis. Jordan. Davids of Kansas. Jeffries. Davidson. Jordan. Davis of Illinois. Jeffries. Davis of North Carolina. Jeffries. Dean of Pennsylvania. Jeffries. DeGette. Jeffries.
And a good morning to
Dela Cruz.
GA, Nancy, Black Eyed Peas.
DeLauro.
Good afternoon to everybody in the
Jeffries.
eastern part of the country. Good morning to
Delfines.
those of you
Jeffries.
in the western time zones.
DeLuzio.
We are indeed in the count. 4 votes
Jeffries.
already
DeSaulnier.
against Jordan, so he cannot win in this round.
Jeffries.
And we'll continue to
Desjardins.
watch.
Jordan. D'Esposito. Zeldin. Diaz-Balart. Scalise. Dingle. Jeffries. Doggett. Jeffries. Donalds. Jordan. Duarte. Jordan. Duncan. Jordan. Dunn of Florida. Jordan. Edwards. Jordan. LZ. Mike Garcia. Emmer. Jordan.
GA, at this time, it is
Escobar.
not possible.
Jeffries.
No
Eshu.
Republican is going to cross the line at
Jeffries.
this point.
Espaillat.
Right now, you're seeing they're voting for
Jeffries.
others. They're voting for
Estes.
McCarthy, for Scalise. They're voting for
Jordan.
anybody other
Evans.
than Jordan. They won't
Jeffries.
vote for a Democrat
Azell.
at this time. Now, if
Jordan.
Liz Cheney, if somebody
Fallon.
does cross the line in upcoming votes,
Jordan.
that could lead
Hinstra.
others to have a little bit of courage and
Jordan.
possibly go down in
Ferguson.
history as American heroes for saving
Scalise.
democracy. But we're not there yet as far as the us watching. We shouldn't be anticipating that happening
Finstad.
yet. And that would
Jordan.
take them dragging it
Fishbach.
on
Jordan.
for more than just a few rounds.
Fitzgerald.
It would take days. It would take a mounting
Jordan.
pressure from
Fitzpatrick.
we the people.
Jordan.
And we're just not there yet.
Weissman.
We're already at 8, and
Jordan.
we're just in the Fs. So I'm saying there's a pretty good possibility we're going to see
Fletcher.
more than the 20 that voted against
Jeffries.
Jordan yesterday.
Flood.
We will see a higher number
Jordan.
of others, if you will,
Foster.
when the votes finally counted.
Jeffries.
And
Cushing.
and what that message sends to the
Jeffries.
Republican caucus,
Fox.
it should be that, hey,
Jordan.
you're
Lois Frankel.
you're wasting time in a
Jeffries.
in a period of history where time
Scott
is not
Franklin.
to be wasted, and
Jordan.
somebody may make a move.
Frost.
But I don't think we're there yet, at least not in my opinion. But thanks for the
Jeffries.
question.
Fry. Jordan. Fulcher. Jordan. Gates. Jordan. Gallagher. Jordan. Gallego. Jeffries. Garamendi. Jeffries. Garbarino. Zeldin. Mike Garcia, Jordan. Robert Garcia, Jeffries. Garcia of Illinois, Jeffries. Garcia of Texas, Jeffries. Jimenez, McCarthy. Golden of Maine, Jeffries. Goldman of New York, Jeffries. Gomez, Jeffries. Tony Gonzalez, Scalise. Vicente Gonzalez, Jeffries. Good of Virginia, Jordan. Gooden of Texas, Jordan. Gosar, Jordan. Gottheimer, Jeffries. Granger, Scalise. Graves of Louisiana, Jordan. Graves of Missouri, Jordan. Green of Tennessee, Jordan. Green of Texas, Jeffries. Green of Georgia, Jordan. Griffith, Jordan. Grijalva, Jeffries. Grothman, Jordan. Guest, Jordan. Guthrie, Jordan. Hageman, Jordan. Harder of California, Jeffries. Harris, Jordan. Harshbarger, Jordan. Hayes, Jeffries. Hearn, Jordan. Higgins of Louisiana, Jordan. Higgins of New York, Jeffries. Hill, Jordan. Himes, Jeffries. Henson, Jordan. Horsford, Jeffries. Houchin, Jordan. Houlihan, Jeffries. Hoyer, Jeffries. Hoyle of Oregon, Jeffries. Hudson, Jordan. Huffman, Jeffries. Huizinga, Jordan. Hunt, Jordan. Isa, Jordan. Ivy, Jeffries. Jackson of Illinois, Jeffries. Jackson of North Carolina, Jeffries. Jackson of Texas, Jordan. Jackson Lee, Jeffries. Jacobs, Jeffries. James, Miller Meeks. Candace Miller of Michigan.
House will come to order. The clerk will continue.
Jayapal. Jeffries. 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 Johnson of Georgia. Jeffries. Johnson of Louisiana. Jordan. Johnson of Ohio. Jordan. Johnson of South Dakota. Jordan. 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 Joyce of Ohio. Jordan. Joyce of Pennsylvania. Jordan. Kemlager Dove. Jeffries. Captor. Jeffries. Kane of New Jersey. Jordan. Keating. Jeffries. Kelly of Illinois. Jeffries. Kelly of Mississippi. Jordan. Kelly of Pennsylvania.
Former Speaker of the House, the Honorable John Boehner.
Boehner. Kana. Kana. Jeffries. Higgins of Virginia. McCarthy.
We've just got reports of a 4.6 earthquake in Northern California, San Francisco Bay Area. Earthquake, shake alert, phone system telling Nancy McMonarch, one of our viewers, one of our
Jeffries.
viewers in that area, to drop and take cover.
Jordan.
So if you are in
Kim
the
of New Jersey.
in the San Francisco
Jeffries.
Bay Area,
Krishnamurthy.
please stay safe.
Jeffries. Custer. Jeffries. Kustoff. Jordan. LaHood. Jordan. LaLota. Zeldin. LaMalfa. Jordan. Lamborn.
Kathy,
Lamborn.
for those of you
Jordan.
in California, yeah, it's nothing.
Landsman.
But hopefully,
Jeffries.
you always have to be concerned
Langworthy.
that it is a
Jordan.
that it's a pre-shake
Larson of Washington.
and something
Jeffries.
bigger could be coming.
Larson
So, hey,
of Connecticut.
stay safe out there, please.
Jeffries. Latta. Jordan. LaTurner. Jordan. Lawler.
Speaker Kevin McCarthy.
McCarthy. Lee of California. Jeffries. Lee of Florida. Jordan. Lee of Nevada. Jeffries. Lee of Pennsylvania. Jeffries. Ledger Fernandez. Jeffries. Lesko. Jordan. Letlow. Jordan. Levin. Jeffries. Liu. Jeffries.
Yes,
Walker.
to give you an idea how big of a no
Jeffries.
vote
Loudermilk.
voting for John Boehner is,
Jordan.
Boehner retired
Lucas.
when
Jordan.
I was running
Luke
for
Kameyer.
Congress back in
Jordan.
2008.
Luna.
Yeah,
Jordan.
that gives you an
Latrell.
idea of the negativity towards Jordan from that
Jordan.
particular person.
Lynch.
And yes, praying that we never have another 7.1.
Mace. Jordan. Magaziner. Jeffries. Maliotakis. Jordan. Mann. Jordan. Manning. Jeffries. Massey. Jordan. Mast. Jordan. Matsui. Jeffries. McBath. Jeffries. McCarthy. Jordan. McCall. Jordan. McLean. Jordan. McClellan. Jeffries. McClintock. Jordan. McCullum. Jeffries. McCormick. Jordan. McGarvey. Jeffries. McGovern. Jeffries. McHenry. Jordan. Meeks. Jeffries. Menendez. Jeffries. Ming. Jeffries. Muser. Jordan. Mfume. Jeffries. Miller of Illinois. Jordan. Miller of Ohio. Jordan. Miller of West Virginia. Jordan. Miller Meeks. Granger. Mills. Jordan. Molinaro. Jordan. Molinar. Jordan. Mooney. Jordan. Moore of Alabama. Jordan. Moore of Utah. Jordan. Moore of Wisconsin. Jeffries. Moran. Jordan. Morelli.
Mr. Jeffries.
Jeffries. Moskowitz. Jeffries. Moulton. Jeffries. Mervan. Jeffries. Mullen. Jeffries. Murphy. Jordan. Nadler. Jeffries. Napolitano. Jeffries. Neal. Jeffries. Neguse. Jeffries. Nels. Jordan. Newhouse. Jordan. Nickel. Jeffries. Norcross. Jeffries. Norman. Jordan. Nunn of Iowa. Jordan. Obernolte. Jordan. Ocasio-Cortez. Jeffries. Ogles. Jordan. Omar. Jeffries. Owens. Jordan. Pallone. Jeffries. Palmer. Jordan. Panetta. Jeffries. Pappas. Jeffries. Pasquarel. Jeffries. Payne. Payne. Pelosi. Jeffries. Peltola. Jeffries. Pence. Jordan. Perez. Perez. Jeffries. Perry. Jordan. Peters. Jeffries. Pedersen. Jeffries. Pfluger. Jordan. Phillips. Jeffries. Pingree. Jeffries. Pocan. Jeffries. Porter. Jeffries. Posey. Jordan. Presley. Jeffries. Quigley. Jeffries. Ramirez. Jeffries. Raskin. Jeffries. Reschenthaler. Jordan. Rogers of Washington. Jordan. Rogers of Alabama. Jordan. Rogers of Kentucky. Jordan. Rose. Jordan. Rosendale.
Thanks for clicking on.
Jordan.
Go.
Ross.
Hang on, there we go.
Jeffries.
If you're just joining us, thanks for clicking
Rouser.
on.
Jordan.
We're basically watching the
Roy.
others number right at the moment.
Jordan.
Sitting at
Ruiz.
18. 20 was the number
Jeffries.
yesterday. We're waiting to see if the support for Jordan
Jeffries.
grows or if it decreases.
Rutherford.
Again, 20 voted
Scalise.
against Jordan yesterday, 18 thus far today. Thanks for clicking on. Hit that like button.
Ryan. Jeffries. Salazar. Jordan. Salinas. Jeffries. Sanchez. Jeffries. Santos. Jordan. Sarbanes. Jeffries. Scalise. Jordan. Scanlon. Jeffries. Schakowsky. Jeffries. Schiff. Jeffries. Schneider. Jeffries. Skolton. Jeffries. Schreier. Jeffries. Schweikert. Jordan. Austin Scott. Jordan. David Scott. Jeffries. Scott of Virginia. Jeffries. Self. Jordan. Sessions. Jordan. Sewell. Jeffries. Sherman. Jeffries. Sherrill. Jeffries. Simpson. Scalise.
And now we're at the 20 mark with that vote for Scalise.
Slotkin.
So we'll see if it does
Jeffries.
increase. GA says
Smith
she
of
thinks it'll be
Missouri.
23 at the
Jordan.
end. Feel
Smith
free to
of Nebraska.
put your predictions in the
Jordan.
chat.
Smith of New Jersey. Jordan. Smith of Washington. Jeffries. Smucker. Jordan. Sorensen. Jeffries. Soto. Jeffries. Spanberger. Jeffries. Sparts. Sparts. Stansberry. Jeffries. Stanton. Jeffries. Stauber. Westerman.
Okay, for those, we got
Steele.
a moment here.
Jordan.
Earthquake was closer to
Stefanik.
Sacramento
Jordan.
to the San Francisco
Style.
Bay Area,
Jordan. Stubbe.
4.1
Jordan.
in California.
Stevens. Jeffries. Strickland. Jeffries. Strong. Jordan. Swalwell. Jeffries. Sykes. Jeffries. Takano. Jeffries. Tenney. Jordan. Tanadar. Jeffries. Thompson of California. Jeffries. Thompson of Mississippi. Jeffries. Thompson of Pennsylvania. Jordan. Tiffany. Jordan. Timmons. Jordan. Titus. Jeffries. Talib. Talib. Takuda. Jeffries. Tonko.
Talib, a member of what's known as the Squad,
Flores of
and
California.
apparently not on the floor for the vote.
Jeffries. Torres of New York.
will come in after the
Jeffries.
remaining roll is called, as
Trahan.
will anyone else that did not
Jeffries.
happen to be on the floor at the time their
Trone.
name was called. They can turn in their vote for a brief time afterwards.
Trone. Turner. Jordan. Underwood. Jeffries. Valadeo. Jordan. Van Drew.
The Honorable Jim Jordan.
Jordan. Van Dyne. Jordan. Van Orden. Jordan. Vargas. Jeffries. Vasquez. Jeffries. Vesey. Jeffries. Velasquez. Jeffries. Wagner. Jordan. Wahlberg. Jordan. Waltz. Jordan. Wasserman Schultz. Jeffries. Waters. Jeffries. Watson Coleman. Jeffries. Weber of Texas. Jordan. Webster of Florida. Jordan. Winstrup. Jordan.
Okay, so
Westerman.
Jordan has lost support. It's just a matter of how
Jordan.
much.
Wexton.
Once this vote is
Jeffries.
finalized, the next question
Wild.
becomes, do they continue
Jeffries.
to do this
Williams of
futile
Georgia.
effort to push Jordan forward?
Jeffries.
Do they bring another
Williams of New
candidate
York.
from such as Steve Scalise
Jordan.
from the
Williams of Texas.
Republican conference, or do they
Jordan.
empower the
Wilson of Florida.
Speaker of the House Pro Tem,
Jeffries.
Patrick
Wilson of South
McHenry?
Carolina. Jordan.
That's
Whitman.
what the discussion will be once this vote is
Jordan.
finalized.
Womack. Scalise. Yakum. Jordan. Zinke.
Jim Jordan of Ohio.
Jordan.
Okay, they sit at the other sits at 22 right now, with Talib coming back in and voting after the fact. That'll probably take it to 23. Oh no, she'll be voting for Jeffries. I don't know if anyone was off the floor that might have voted other. Okay, McHenry's taking the microphone at the podium, Speaker Pro Tem. And we'll see what happens from here. Okay, he's not talking at the moment, so I'll give you a brief update on some other news that has been happening. Biden and Air Force One flew into Crete last night. We monitored him on Flight Tracker instead of flying into Tel Aviv, and then transported from Crete over to Israel this morning. He met with Benjamin Netanyahu. Not going to be meeting with anyone from any of the Arab nations, and will be flying back directly instead of staying over till
Reading
tomorrow.
will now call the names
We
of
go
the
back
members
to
who did
the
not answer
House.
the first call of the roll.
Payne. Jeffries. Sparts. Jordan. Tlaib. Jeffries.
So that means all 212 Democratic members of the House voted for Jeffries with Tlaib's vote.
Trone. Jeffries.
Okay, once again, in other news, Biden will be flying back today, not staying over till tomorrow. Everything was canceled. First of all, Mahmoud Abbas, the president of Palestine, pulled out of a meeting with Biden after the hospital was struck last night. It was either struck by an Israeli missile or it was struck by a misfired um, Islamic Jihad of Palestine group. One of their rockets misfired. We will probably never know the exact truth. It'll go back and forth, lots of finger pointing. With AI, any kind of conversations are always now going to be questionable. Footage is going to be questionable. Um, the damage has been done, the lives have been lost, and both sides will now try to spin it to the most advantageous position they can, but it has hindered potentially humanitarian aid getting in or getting United States and other citizens out of Gaza, where everyone remains trapped, no way out, no border crossings opened, and the only non-Israeli crossing is the one between Gaza and Egypt, and that currently remains closed as well. So that's the other really big news at the moment. Putin is going to be flying back from China. We'll monitor that flight, and lots of threats going on from many different locations. So all of that just adds to the uh, necessity of the United States to start showing the rest of the world that we're not the giant clusterfuck that we are presenting ourselves at the moment. Um, we moved a little bit farther away from that happening with this vote. That again, the question was asked. He had to know he wasn't going to miraculously get, 15 out of or 17 out of 22 to actually 18 out of 22 to vote with him. But they tried it. They tried to push the public floor vote and pressure those 22. And again, that number grows. Yesterday it was 20, now 22. Um, if they press for a third vote, you might see those numbers in the others column really start to add up. Um, so it was a futile effort this time. Anything forward, again, I can't see any reason to do it other than just because Jim Jordan is a fighter and he won't give up no matter what so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. The best case scenario as we stand right this moment is that they take a vote to make Patrick McHenry the Speaker pro tem, um, and by that he would have limited powers as the Speaker of the House. and it would be for a limited time period. That's probably already all been negotiated out behind the scenes and just waiting for the formalities. Um, the word I had is that McHenry um, was willing, and this was yesterday. McHenry was willing to do it, but he didn't want a Democrat. He didn't want it to be a Democrat's idea. He wanted it to be put forward and brought to the floor by a Republican. Yeah, that's just political asshattery, just to try to maintain optics when they're all talking about how they want to do what's best for the country. Sometimes it's hard to see any of them actually really wanting to do what's best for the country. But again, um, while I got a moment, I will share this and remind you that we showed this last night, the black flag going up over the it's actually the largest mosque in Syria, or I'm sorry, largest mosque in Iran. Um, we had the still last night. This is the video of the um, get rid of the audio here. The video of the changing from the white to the black flag. Now I've also been contacted by email that the black flag going up doesn't necessarily mean jihad. It could possibly be a sign of mourning. So we take that into consideration, and we'll go, we'll go back.
Point, but Representative Jim Jordan with 199 members of Congress supporting him. Republicans, he got 200 yesterday, you'll remember. Hakeem Jeffries with the same 212 from his Democratic coalition, and then 22 voting against Representative Jordan, nobody voting present. And so this is finishing up, and we'll wait and see what next steps are as the paperwork and the final dotting of the I's and crossing of the T's is done.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been saying. Now we just wait to see whether they take this to a second round of voting. I personally can't see what that would do. Jordan's losing support. It's just going to make him look even weaker if he goes to one more round, and even more of the Republican caucus moves away from him. He's at 199 now. 22 others, 212 for the Democratic candidate. Again, the Democratic candidate beats him by 13 instead of 12, so that amount grows as well. And as I was saying, the guy you're seeing right here, this is the little guy right there. That's Patrick McHenry, a Republican congressman that is known for the bow tie. Kevin McCarthy, he was Kevin McCarthy's pick to fill in as Speaker Pro Tem should McCarthy lose his position, which he did. He was ousted as Speaker of the House 2 weeks ago in an effort led by Matt Gaetz. So that's why we are going through all of this, is because McCarthy was ousted, and McCarthy receiving votes, according to, he received 5 votes, Scalise received 7 votes, and then 10 votes went to others other than Scalise and McCarthy, which only adds up to, okay, it adds up to 22. That's where we're at. All right. If you want to call in, because there will probably be a delay, and C-SPAN will probably take callers, and I will give you, if you want to call in on the Democrat line, it's 202-748-8000 to call into C-SPAN. If you want to call on Republican line, it is 202-748-8001. And independent is 202-748-8002. So 202-748-8000 for the Democrat line, 8001 for the Republican line, and independents 8002. 202-748-8000, 202-748-8001, and 202-748-8002 if you'd like to call in to the C-SPAN line and voice your opinion. Of course, we appreciate it here in chat, but and if you're outside the United States, it's 202-748-8003. They'll probably be taking calls if you want to get in the queue. As the Republicans have been, as we've been talking about, it appears they are very disorganized. They're not very unified. Losing votes, coming in and doing this all over again, and losing ground is really poor optics from a political perspective. And they would have to. So with all that disorganization, I don't think they have a plan B. I don't think they were certain what they were going to do after Jordan lost this. And again, barring some incredible miracle, they had to have counted the votes. Somebody put in the comments, I think it was GA put in the comments that Nancy Pelosi had the votes. Yeah, most of the time, especially the Democrats don't like to vote on anything if they don't already know the results. I'll just throw that out there, having been the chosen nominee in different elections running for Congress. Democrats generally don't like to have votes unless they know how they're going to come out, and Republicans are the same way. That's what the whip does in each party. There's a party whip, a Democrat whip, and a Republican whip. The whip job is to know the vote count and to make sure that the caucus votes in solidarity, as we've seen the Democrats do twice now over the last 2 days, with Jeffries getting 212. By this time yesterday, they had adjourned, so the second vote is complete. Jordan 199, Jeffries 212, others 22. It was 20 yesterday, so a slight growth, but a slight growth in those against Jordan, which just means a slight decay of the caucus trying to get Jordan in. You see, oh, sorry, hang on, get that off of there. All right, stop it. Let me go back over here. All right. Okay, they just changed the camera angle. I was about to show you Boebert and Gates huddling together. Associate producer Lori Arnold with some hand motions. Let's just what's that where you try to guess without talking? Charades. Yes, Lori Arnold with some charades when the name Boebert was mentioned. We'll just toss that out there. Yes, GA from CA. Jeffries needs 5 to win. If 5 of the 22 others, voted for Jeffries, he would be the Speaker of the House. if they did put Jeffries up there, that it wouldn't. Oh, we lost connection here. Okay, we're back. Too much information. Oh, yeah, this is the serious one. You do the other. Behind the scenes look. All right, I'll just go ahead and tell you I'm in pajama pants. So she, just in case she suddenly goes live and is showing you a behind the scenes look at what's happening here. Hello, everybody. All right, back to serious stuff here now, because we're covering the Republicans trying to get Jim Jordan into the House of Representatives Speaker role. I'm sorry. That was just such a juxtaposition. Oh, yes, that's what it was. It was a juxtaposition between juxtaposition. So Lori's chopping eggplant. Got it. Yeah. I'm having hamburger patties for dinner, and she's having fried eggplant. That's what it is. That's our story, and we're sticking to it. All right, a little bit of levity here in the middle of a giant. Yes, exactly. That is current House of Representatives. Don't think that other countries aren't watching. I mean, I'm laughing at it. Other countries aren't seeing this and going, "Wait a minute, okay? Why would we want democracy in our country if that's what it is? If this is what democracy is, we've already got dysfunction in our governments. Why bring democracy?" So, who was it that said it was George H.W. Bush has said we need to be a shining light on the hill. No, that was Reagan. A shining light on the hill, and an example to the world of how great democracy is. Well, we're not doing that. We haven't done that. It's time maybe to forget about all that and just start doing things that might actually benefit America. I don't know, something to think about. It looks like McHenry's back up onto the podium, and somebody just put a piece of paper down to tell him what to say. So we will go back to C-SPAN. They didn't take calls so yet anyway. So if you're on hold on the C-SPAN thing, hang in there. Unless they're going for another vote, this is probably going to be an adjournment until later today. But we'll see what McHenry does.
The House will come to order.
Okay, gavelled back into session.
The tellers agree in their tallies that the total number of votes cast is 433, of which the Honorable Jim Jordan of the state of Ohio has received 199. The Honorable Hakeem Jeffries of the state of New York has received 212. The Honorable Kevin McCarthy of the state of California has received 5. The Honorable Byron Donalds of the state of Florida has received 1. The Honorable Tom Emmer of the state of Minnesota has received 1. Lee Zeldin of the state of New York has received 3. The Honorable Steve Scalise of the state of Louisiana has received 7. The Honorable Mike Garcia of the state of California has received 1. Candace Miller of the state of Michigan has received 1. John Boehner of the state of Ohio has received 1.
I mean, even he has to laugh about that.
The Honorable Kay Granger of the state of Texas has received 1. The Honorable Bruce Westerman of the state of Arkansas has received 1. No person having received a majority of the whole number of votes cast by surname, a speaker has not been elected. Pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the chair declares the House in recess, subject to the call of the chair.
And that's what I anticipated, that he would be up there calling recess.
And that's the end result of the second day of voting on a House Speaker, not going the way for Representative Jim Jordan, and next steps to be determined as the House considers and leadership considers its next moves. You can call in and talk about what you've seen.
I gave you the numbers.
The morning and into the
online,
afternoon.
you're welcome.
Republicans 202-748-8921.
Oh, wait a minute, different
Democrats
numbers.
202-748-8920. Others 202-748-8922. You can text us at 202-748-8903. You can post on X at C-SPAN, and Facebook is facebook.com/C-SPAN. Punchbowl News' Jake Sherman reporting that House Republicans now waiting upon Representative Jordan to decide his next move. That's per sources involved in the decision-making process. What we'll see play out is anybody's guess. We've been talking with legislators and throughout the course of this morning about this idea of expanding the current powers of the Speaker Pro Tem, Patrick McHenry. A debate going on between Republicans and Democrats over that. It was the the Democrat from Maryland, Steny Hoyer, on the steps of the Capitol talking about this idea, what he thinks of it. Here's a portion of that.
Look, that would have to be a Republican initiative, and we'd have to discuss what the terms of that are. But it is important for us to get the Congress working on behalf of the American people. And the way we move forward is in a bipartisan fashion. That's the way we...
All right. We just lost C-SPAN, which is what I anticipated would be happening. I've kind of already wrapped it all up, but I'll go through it once again. 199 to 212. It was 200 to 212 yesterday. So some support for Jordan has disappeared. 20 votes against Jordan yesterday, 22 today. And Jim's a fighter. Jim's I'm sorry. I'm trying to be serious here. But it's obvious that there's no way forward for Jim Jordan. The House Republicans are waiting for him to understand that. Jim's a fighter, so, he's got that reputation. He's not going to quit. So it might be another round. I think it's asinine to do so, but we're talking about Jim Jordan. The best move, as Steny Hoyer said, as I said earlier, is to put some temporary power behind Patrick McHenry and for a limited time period and try to move the nation forward. So that's where we stand. It's anticipated that there will be another vote yet today, but at the moment the House is in recess. It's in chaos. And President Biden currently about to, if he hasn't already lifted off, about to fly back from Israel to the United States. He was supposed to be there for 2 days, but everything was canceled as far as any meetings with any leaders of Arab countries. We were hopeful that we would be able to get some aid into the citizens of Palestine, not into Hamas, not into the militants, but into the regular citizens, and also hopeful of getting United States citizens out, Canadian citizens, Germans, um, all the citizens that are trapped there, about 600 Americans supposedly trapped in Gaza, almost 300 Canadians. So, significant number of people, and they're out of water, they're out of food, diseases spreading. It's not a good situation in southern Gaza, let alone in northern Gaza, where we are awaiting an incursion of Israeli ground troops, which, as I've said, I believe is the domino that triggers everything else going south really fast in the Middle East. I hope that's not the case, but I anticipate that's what we're going to be seeing. So we're going to sign off here for now, and thank you all for clicking on. Again, hit that like, subscribe if you would. Hit the notification bell so you know when we come back on. If the House goes back in session, we will come back on. If not, we'll take the rest of today off and be on either tomorrow or Friday at 9 p.m. with Chris. And again, as things happen, if something is significant, we will hop on and cover it. And I hope you'll be with us, and I thank you for being with us this time. Namaste, shalom, 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 assalamu alaikum. Blessings be upon each and every one of you that so desire them from the Most High, one true living God. Peace, much love. Love you like chocolate chip cookies, and I'm going to go eat one right now. Hey, it's a dark world. Try to be a light. You want to get a hold of me? americandufus at gmail.com. You want to help support the show? Cashapp, $American Doofus. Until next time, be well, live long, and prosper. Love y'all.